Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. What a crazy week it has been with gold and silver. And I can't wait to do, I'm probably going to most likely do a Sunday morning video. I know some people might be like, what's going on with the episodes? I've slowed down on the episodes, like I said in a previous video, just due to the views on them are a lot lower than the long form videos. As you can see with the long form videos, 618, 826, 675, 719. When you look at the most recent short form videos, we got 316, 371, 286. So literally more people tend to watch the long form videos. So I'm going to roll with that for a little bit, but I'm still going to continue on with the episodes. You're just not going to see them quite as often. It's going to be kind of a back burner thing a little bit that I work on. I know someone did leave a comment, don't do a course. When I say do a course, it's not a course that I'm going to charge for here online. It's actually a course because a friend of mine does classes and he wants to do a precious metals class, and he wants me to kind of teach the class with some references on like how to spot silver coins in your change, the difference between bullion and numismatic, just what to look for in coins, what's a good thing, that type of stuff. So I want to do that course, but I don't want people thinking, oh, he's going to try to charge. I'm not. You guys, you already watched the YouTube videos. Everything I would talk about in a course, you can find out right here on YouTube for free. You don't have to buy a course. The people that like the courses are the people that want hands-on. They want to put silver in their hand and feel it. They want to know how to spot fakes, that type of stuff, and they want more hands-on. So I did have that comment. Now today is pretty much what we're doing today in today's video. We're going to be answering all the comments that came in on yesterday's video. Not a whole lot of comments, but I did have a great topic that I wanted to do a video on today, and then I remembered, oh no, it's Saturday. We got to do the comments. Saturday morning videos are comments from Friday, and essentially they answer questions that you might have as a stacker, and maybe you just want to hear my opinion and see what I think, and I love answering them. Not everything do I have an answer to, but if I do, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it. And as always, please help me out by hitting that like button, hit that thumbs up button, share these videos. Like I said, if you're a big fan of these short episode videos, share them with friends. The more people that hit the thumbs up on them, the more people that watch them, the more likelihood it is that I will continue to roll them out, because it does really help out the channel, having more content as I am trying to grow the channel. It's just been so slow lately, and it's been so frustrating because YouTube does not really like this type of content, I believe. I believe that a lot of everything is owned by a handful of wealthy people, and I would have to say YouTube is really no different in my opinion, and therefore the wealthy ones are the ones that want gold and silver. They want you to hold paper, keep the system going, that way they can keep making money. They don't want people in gold and silver, but once you understand it, you really understand what's going on, and all of a sudden you're building your nest egg for your future. So with that being said, we are going to jump in right off and start answering these comments. However, I do want to make a quick note, $90.04 right now with the silver price. So silver had a rough week, up and down, up and down. However, you know, you look at this as like a 1 month chart, and people shouldn't be at all frustrated. I really hope no one here is frustrated. We had said the 15th that we would be up there, and here we are. We're past the $85 mark. We hit the $85 mark. We charged higher. We got actually up to like $93, $94. And yeah, we hit some resistance up there. This is the exact same consolidation phase that we seen right around the $82 mark. And then we've seen it come all the way down technically to 69 and bounce around, and after consolidating for literally only the 28th to the 9th, literally 11 days, and then we pushed even higher. We've already pretty well started consolidating over the $90 mark, and we started that consolidation on the 14th, in my opinion, and now we are consolidating. Now the 14th, then we had the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th. So we just got to sit through this for maybe a week and a half, and then I think we're going to push on and go to the $100 mark, and more people will sell their silver at 100. There will be a lot of selling, and I think those people will regret it down the road. It's just, a part of the phase. They don't want to run the price nonstop, because if they run the price nonstop, it doesn't scare people. If they run the price up, then they beat it down. It scares people a little bit to where they want to sell their silver thinking, it's having a hard time. You look at what TD Bank said. TD Bank ended up taking huge amounts of short positions at the $82 mark. Why? Because when they looked at $82 silver, we got up here, 83, and then we came crashing down. And then we tried coming up again, got up to 78, and came crashing down. Got up again to 82 and came crashing down. And somewhere along this line, they decided, hey, we're going to take huge short positions against silver. And rumor has it, I haven't confirmed this, but rumor has it once silver hit 92, that was where their stop loss was. So by doing that, they guaranteed they couldn't lose any more money than they already did. And essentially, they gave up their position. They got liquidated out and lost millions and millions and millions of dollars, and now we're even higher. We're at $90. There's a lot of people with this consolidation right here now for going on roughly the fourth day. There's a lot of people out there that are thinking, maybe we topped at the $90 level. I don't think we did. However, let them think whatever they're going to think, and we'll see what happens. So right off the bat, I'm not panicking. I got to say that every video, because I know there are people out there that are panicking, and I think they're going to regret it if they sell. So jumping into the comments, we're going to get right into it. The Real Gear Up Survival. Enjoyed this one. Thumbs up. YouTube is just a strange machine, and sometimes I feel like it does whatever it wants. I double-checked to make sure I was subscribed as well to help. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That goes for anybody. Hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed and you want to maybe just unsubscribe and resubscribe, but don't do that if you're a member, because that could mess up something. I don't know if that would, but I don't know how that would work. I probably shouldn't even say unsubscribe and resubscribe. I don't know what that will do. But there are a lot of people out there that somehow, I don't get it. YouTube will just unsubscribe people randomly. So it's kind of crazy. It's nuts to me how some of these videos YouTube just doesn't share these videos. They don't really promote them. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Troll, how's it going? Hope you're having a great night. Or a great morning, I should say, at the time of y'all watching this. When the Chinese announced that they will no longer be exporting silver without government approval, that played a role in the silver price going up. Do you think the Chinese would announce that they are loosening restrictions on silver exports to drive the price down to get weak hands to sell so they can buy at a lower price point? Just make the announcement. That doesn't mean that they will really have to loosen it. So that's actually a really good strategy, because you might be the first person I've ever heard say that, bro. We've seen China make announcements that were kind of shady, like China's done buying gold and silver because prices have gotten too high. We've heard them actually say that, and then turn around. We've seen the price of gold and silver come down. This was about a year ago, and then all of a sudden they end up going in and buy everything back up again. And, we changed our mind. So I could actually see them doing that. That would be interesting. But here's the thing to note. They might say they're going to do that. And you covered that very well with your comment, because I could picture them, now that you say that, saying something like that. But on the flip side, saying, next month, and then next month never comes, or we're going to start easing on it now that we've got it set up, but then not do it. So I actually can think that they would do some stunt like that, and it would be smart. You got to understand, China's objective is to get as much silver as they can, and their objective is, I believe, because they know that silver is the Achilles heel of the United States banking system. There's a lot of banks, there's a lot of paper ounces out there, and by crushing the silver market, I think that they kind of put themselves in the driver's seat as one of the major holders of silver, and essentially doing that puts them in a good spot. But don't think for a minute that it's just them trying to dominate certain markets, because I am a firm believer that the United States is essentially trying to make sure that we can slow them down a little bit. And some of the stuff they're doing, I think that when you look at where the majority of Venezuelan oil was sold before, and now it's all coming here to the United States. So you start to realize the bigger picture, that China is not getting all that oil that they thought they were getting. There's a lot of loans from Venezuela that's owed to countries like China, and will that be a priority now, making those payments? Who knows? There's a possibility it won't be. They might come out and say, new regime, new rules, new payouts. It's like if a bank goes bankrupt, or a company goes bankrupt, and the government gets involved with it, they decide how to prioritize those funds. And if you're just a common shareholder, you may not get anything. They may end up putting certain entities or people before you. Maybe preferred stock obviously is going to be a priority, but other things too. So definitely a great point, and a strong possibility we could see something like that. I think people just need to keep their eyes open on what's going on. Me personally, this is not financial advice, just my opinion. But as for me, I am just looking for really good breaks. When we seen the price go down to 70 a couple weeks ago, that was a really good break. I mean, that was a huge drop, tremendous drop, and an awesome opportunity in my opinion. So let's see. It seems like you mentioned that you have a Sigma many videos back. Do you feel like they are worth their money? Oh my word, absolutely. So if somebody, well, I guess it would depend. So I have gotten asked to go and look at collections for people, and they wanted to know if I felt that it was authentic, that they were real coins. I always tell people, I say, there's no guarantee that something is real. You can do different tests, but people have to understand that they're making better and better counterfeits nowadays. Am I happy with it? Yes. I went to an estate sale one time. It was a new estate sale company, and they had some gold coins there. And obviously with gold at the time, $2,500, that's hard to sell. It's hard to sell someone a $2,500 gold coin, especially when gold was only like 2,000 maybe. It was like 500 over or something like that, to give you an idea. It was basically 25% over whatever the spot price was. So I wasn't interested in it. But I always go back on the last day to see if there's something there that maybe didn't get bought and now it's like half price. And when she told me the gold coins were half price, I was like, what? Now you take a coin that was 25% overpriced, and now it's essentially 75%. I don't know if I can say that right. Underpriced, if I did the math right real quick in my head. But you think about it for a minute. You got spot gold at 2,000 at the time. They're asking 2,500. Why would I pay that extra 25%? I can go online and buy it from an online bullion dealer or a coin shop and get it for, not much over spot. But when they half offed it, 2,500 goes down to 1,200. And I guess that's not 75% under spot, but it's definitely maybe 40% under spot. So it makes it an awesome deal in my opinion. And I didn't have a Sigma at the time, so I couldn't do it. And I couldn't take the chance that the coin was real without some way to really authenticate it. So I am super happy with my Sigma. If you're just buying a couple coins for yourself here and there, or you're buying from a coin shop, I probably wouldn't do that, because you probably won't really get your money's worth out of it. Is 13 ounces. Here's what you got to consider. A Sigma is anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500. That's approximately 14 to 16, 17 ounces of silver. Now, the reason I bring that up is because you have to understand, if only 17 fakes make it to your stack, you could have paid for that Sigma. And that's where, you can really understand, what would you rather have, 17 fakes or a Sigma? Now, if you're in a position like me where you're meeting with people on a fairly regular basis, they talk about YouTube, they talk about silver, they talk about gold. A lot of times people will say, hey, is there any way we can meet up for lunch? Sure. Can you bring your Sigma with you? Of course. And usually if I meet up with someone, I don't want to sound bad. I'm not paying for my lunch. If you invite me to go have lunch with you, that usually is someone that, they know, they don't mind buying a $15, $20 lunch just to have their coins checked, because they're looking at it like maybe they want to buy a gold coin or they want to get some silver coins. And I've actually gotten invited to lunch, and then when I've gotten there before, the person said, hey, this is my friend so-and-so. He has some coins I'm thinking about getting from him. Do you mind testing them? Of course. And so I look at it like, it's just an item that it does pay for itself, in my opinion. But like I said, if you're not the type of person that's doing that type of stuff, you have an everyday job and you're just kind of doing your own thing, then maybe it won't be as valuable for you. But you got to understand, because this is the thing. If you go to a coin shop and you buy something, most coin shops have Sigmas. And so if you go into the coin shop, you have a Sigma there, I would just test anything and everything. Yeah, I'll take these, but you have a Sigma over there, I noticed? Yep. Can I put it on? They're not going to tell you no. And if they did tell you no, that would be automatically, I don't want to do business with them. Because either they know something that you don't know, or they're just jerks to say no. So that's my thoughts on the whole Sigma thing. Next comment, and that comment was from Demand Biggie. I appreciate that comment. A really good comment. Good question there. Wes Stephan, when I woke up the other day, I saw silver had jumped over $90 an ounce to 92. It actually got up to 93 even. I actually felt anxiety over that. So yeah, I'll be honest, I sometimes feel anxiety as well. Anytime someone sees something that they bought going up, you're going to have anxiety. Whether that anxiety is because you made a lot of money, or that anxiety is because, damn, I wish I had bought more. Should I go out and buy more now before it goes to the moon? I'm not convinced we're going to see an overnight moonshot, for those of you that are wondering that. And I'll tell you why. What they're doing right now with these push-ups and then consolidate and then push up and then consolidate is giving people time to sell that think the price can't go any higher. That's my honest opinion on that. They want people to sell off their position. And there's a lot of anxiety there, with what's going on. They think that the price can't go any higher. We're already at a high. And some of y'all have been stacking for a while. I've talked to people now that have, some of y'all are sitting on 1,000+ ounces. And so you're psyched, you understand that, and so there's going to be anxiety for some of y'all. And I don't know what everybody's at. I mean, everybody's at different numbers, but it's definitely something to think about. Let's see. Next one. Steve, how's it going? Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate you saying that. I know a lot of people that watch these videos enjoy the videos, and I'm thankful that you guys enjoy them. I try to push myself to do better each day, to give you guys better content. there's always going to be naysayers out there. There's always going to be people that essentially want to diss Silver. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that they're upset that they didn't buy in when they first heard about it. They were too busy writing negative comments on YouTube, and they should have been focusing on picking up an ounce a week at $15, $20. And there are, I believe there are 2 or 3 people that I see fairly regularly that started out on here as naysayers, and somewhere along the way, maybe it was my kind personality, maybe it was the realization that they're deep down, they're probably a good person and realize that, hey, obviously it's doing good. Maybe I need to get in. And I watch that, and I want the best for people. Even if someone got on here and they were just a total, your videos suck or this and that, I wouldn't care. I still would want the best for them. I am a firm believer in when you realize you've made a mistake, try to fix it. Try to fix it. I'm not a perfect guy. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And in some cases, I've tried to fix that stuff. And in other cases, I've tried. And people that maybe I wronged in some way, shape, didn't want to deal with it anymore. They just got to that point. I'll be honest, when I was married, I'd come home from work and I did not, this sounds hard to say because I know better now, I didn't cook dinner. I didn't do laundry. I didn't clean around the house. I came home from work and that was it. And then I just sat there. And it wasn't until my marriage kind of fell apart that I had to start doing a lot of that myself. And then I learned, from that. So I always say to people, if once you realize you're doing something wrong, not stacking, or anything, and then try to work on it a little at a time. Try to get the answers from the people that want to help you. They want to make your life better. You know what I'm saying? There are people out there that will try to chop you down, but there's also a lot of people out there that want to help you do better, and that's kind of how I am. I want to help people do better if I can. I've actually had someone tell me, why do you feel the need to want to help people? That's just, who cares? It's them. It's just my nature to want to help people, and that's why I enjoy doing the videos. So, and I thank y'all for writing comments like this one. Great video as usual, T. Thank you. Or keep up the great work. Yes, thank you. I want to help y'all. I really want to see y'all do well. I have to say certain things like this is not financial advice. I have to say stuff like that because if silver does tank, someone might instantly go out and try to make a lawsuit saying, he said. No, I didn't say nothing. Yeah, I'll tell you this. No one is going to care more about your finance than you. Nobody. I don't even care if it's a licensed financial advisor. At the end of the day, they care about their commission for the most part. Do they want you to make money? Of course, everybody wants good results. You hire a lawyer, he wants to win the case for you and for himself and to make money. But at the end of the day, he goes home at night and probably not going to lose anything major if you lose, So, and I'm not dissing lawyers, first of all. I think lawyers have a purpose just like every other position in the world. So, definitely I don't want anybody that's a lawyer in here to take that to heart. Let's see, Matt. I hype every time it allows me to. Yeah, to my understanding, it will only allow you to hype 3 videos over a 7-day period. So if you're willing to use that hype on one of my videos, I can't thank you enough. I really do appreciate that. Tangled Up in Blue. I got to get with you, bro. I got to get your stuff to you. And we got another giveaway coming here in not too long, like a week or two. Tangled in Blue, good video. Yes, thank you. And good morning, T. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I can't thank you enough for that. Let's see here. Joshua, gas is at 270 here in Massachusetts. It actually gone down a bit from 290. So here in Texas, we've seen it go up, and then we just seen it drop. Today, actually, it dropped a little bit. So you said 12 hours ago. So we might have seen the drop a little bit at about the same, because mine went down a little bit since last night till now. Did I bring my drink here? Hold on, let me grab a drink. Okay. Taking a sip of that Diet Coke, even though I know someone's going to be like, that stuff ain't good for you, bro. I know. It's the caffeine that I need to find a better way to get caffeine intake. Let's see. Knife collector. What do you think of silver items such as bowls, candlesticks, etc.? 90%, 925, or 999? Do you have to get way below spot to make a decent buy? Okay, so no, you don't have to get way below spot, and I'll tell you why. So obviously, spot or less than spot is awesome. Anytime you can get under spot, that's awesome. However, right now, what we're seeing from the refineries, that's what I look at a lot right now. Refineries are paying a certain amount for 999, and they're paying less for 925, and they're paying even less for 90%. A lot of that is because of the refining process. It takes time, it's work, it's energy. 999, they can instantly flip it and make a profit. They can easily melt it down, re-pour it. There's no refining, there's no chemicals, there's nothing. It's that simple. So obviously that is going to have the best opportunity. However, you have to understand, anybody that's never seen the movie Far, Far and Away with Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise, it's a great movie to watch. I highly recommend it. It's a fun movie, an enjoyable movie. It was well done. But what really brings my attention in that movie is when they came to the United States from another country, their wealth was transported in silverware. That's 925. And even back in the day, someone else left me a comment yesterday, the most expensive thing in someone's home back in the day was pretty much their silverware, their sterling silver. The average home didn't have a lot of 90%. Yes, 90% silver was money, but they weren't sitting on tons of it. But they did have silverware. And, with the silverware, a fork being roughly, 3 ounces of sterling, maybe 2.5 ounces pure once you break it all out. There's opportunity there. There's a lot of silver there. Now, as for your question about is one better or does, what do I think about candlestick holders, bowls? So bowls and candlestick holders, if you've got some extra silver, and you get a good deal on them, they're great. But unfortunately, they're not always well recognized by a lot of people. They take up a lot of space. That's one of the things I don't like about bowls and candlestick holders and silverware is the space content. With that being said, I ended up getting some 90% 925 sterling silverware. I ended up trading it with someone a long time ago because I didn't want to see her sell it and take fiat cash and then turn around and go buy bullion rounds or silver coins. So I ended up trading it with her. I said, you know what? You got roughly 12 ounces of silver there. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 10 or 11, I think it was, for it. And I ended up later trading that, and I ended up getting the same amount back, essentially. I might have gotten the full 12 because at the time of trading it, I didn't have any middleman in there. I've acquired more friends that have access to that stuff, and I basically got a fair trade value on it. But I don't want cash in that case, because then I'd have to legally, this always comes up with people. You're supposed to pay your taxes. If you buy something for silver, we'll just say 10-ounce bar of silver for $200, and then you turn around and you sell it for 800, 900, whatever it's at now. Yeah, 990. Let's say you sell it for $900. You're supposed to pay your tax on that 700. Does everybody? This is not an ethics class. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just telling you, you're legally supposed to. Do people write up forms? That always comes up. They're like, no, you don't have to. No, that's not the law. The law is they're not required to report it. But on the flip side, the law is you are required to report it. Whether you choose to or you don't, that's on the individual. And like I said, I'm going to say I'm not always a saint. I've probably skipped out on some little coin somewhere maybe on the way. But in general, that's the rules. Now, I'm also saying that because I want people to understand that different items, 999 versus 925 versus 90%, are going to have different demand rates right now. I talked to some people and they love 90%. I personally love 90%. Does it have as much of a resale value if I was to go sell it? No, it doesn't. I could easily sell a 10-ounce bar of silver right now and get spot for it. I can easily go sell a 1-ounce bar of silver and get spot for it. When it comes to 90%, I can't always say that will be the case because right now, a lot of people don't like. I mean, there was a while when they weren't even buying this stuff. And I see some big YouTubers that have metal companies that they promote the heck out of it. And they use certain fair tactics. Do I think it's cool? I would be a liar if I said I didn't think it was cool. I love Mercury dimes. That's my favorite coin probably. I like Mercury dimes more than anything that I can think of right now. Maybe Britannia's, but I mean, you can't really compare 90% Mercury dime to a Britannia. So if we're talking like 90% coins, then obviously the Mercury dime would be my favorite. And Mercury dimes, I do see premiums on that stuff. But a lot of people are looking at that stuff right now, and it's hard to justify to some people $6.50 for a Mercury dime. The fact that it's a Mercury dime and it looks different, it looks older, it has that look to it, people are willing to pay that $6.50 a little more. A 1964 half dollar for $31, that's a really tough sell for a lot of people. You would have a hard time convincing someone that a 1964 half dollar is worth $31. But that's where all that stuff comes in. And then your last part of your question, do you have to get below spot to make a decent buy? No. One of my favorite buys that I look for is obviously below spot is a good thing. However, the other thing I look for is a good coin, a really popular item. I'll give you an example. The other day, that Geiger bar, that 1-ounce Geiger bar, that square, those sell on eBay for like $220. That blew my mind when I had seen that. And I've heard of them before, but I don't buy high premium stuff. I look for deals. I look for under spot. Now, with that being said, if someone says, hey, I got this for over spot or a little bit over spot, then I turn to what is an online bullion company selling coins for right now. And when I look right now for a secondary market silver round, $97, and that I ended up trading, working out a deal with, it cost me roughly, in my mind, $100 altogether, then that $3 extra is not that much to have some really cool coin like that, or bar, whatever you want to call it. And some people might say, oh, you cherry picked that. That's AppMax. Now, I'm using AppMax on this example, and that's a secondary market, which is your junkiest thing that they get in, but it's silver. And when they buy whole silver lots, they get a lot of this type of stuff. And they're saying that now this is the lowest premium item. It's their sale items. It's the stuff that nobody really wants. $97. That's $7 over spot. That's what I want you to understand. But it's not just them. Here's another one right here that I had pulled up. This happens to be Money Metals right now. Spot price, they showing $90.85. Come over here, you look at Random Design, secondary market, on sale, $97.34. When you really look at these, though, well, this one's a good one because $97.34, and essentially there is no minimum to how many you got to buy. Some of the sites, though, they show you this, and then when you look at it, sold 0%. I don't know. Let's see why that's doing that. And then when you look at it, oh, it's might be already sold out. No, maybe not. Okay, I guess you don't have a. Well, we're gonna find out now because I'm wondering. Oh yeah, see, as low as $97. Yeah, if you're gonna buy 500 of them, if you only want to buy one or two or whatever, you're gonna pay $98 a piece. So prices on this stuff is escalating. You've got to try your best to pick up the deals. Down the road, I don't think it will matter what you have. Here's why. 999 silver is going to the refineries. It's getting melted down. Some nice stuff is being melted down. You guys saw me bust open that Kennedy the other day. I know some people got mad at that. I had a couple comments that said, shame on you. You got to understand, though, I don't have enough money to buy everything I see. In fact, I'm not even really buying a whole lot right now because I don't have the money. I don't have the money right now to be buying stuff. You guys know I'm retired military. I'm essentially on fixed income, I guess you can call it. And so, yeah, I don't have a ton of money. I do this YouTube because it's fun. I get a few bucks for it at the end of the month. Not making a ton, but, I make a little something off of it. Down the road, when all this 999 keeps selling to the refineries and they're turning it into big 100-ounce bars or whatever, 1,000-ounce bars, and this stuff gets shipped off and it goes into a solar panel, into a car, into a cell phone, they're going to get to a point where they've got one of two choices. Either they start really refining down this 925, this 90%. That means in order to get it, they're going to have to pay more. Or they go and mine it out of the ground. And essentially all the easy mining out of the ground is done. It will always be easier to refine 90% or 925 than it will be go in the ground and mine it. So whatever you buy, I believe down the road is going to probably do well for you. But that's just my opinion. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the future. But I think when people start realizing that, they understand what's going on. So that's a great question, Knife Collector. Hypersonic Bullion, how's it going? Hope you're having a great night, morning. I say night sometimes because it is midnight right now when I'm making this video. So let's see. Hypersonic Bullion. Yeah, bud, that's a shame about your views. I find them excellent, yet grounded. I've listened to Uncle Sal for a good bit of time, and his wet blanket, I'm not sure what that means, blanketism, are making him seem out of touch with reality happening, though I do believe it is his consensus doing a good bit of driving. I believe his direction of heart is one that just can't let the bull out of the bag. If there is a molecule of potential downside for fear of leading anyone astray, and that is commendable and honorable for sure, I just get weary of the bear bull. I still listen, but yeah, you get it. All that I say is I enjoy your balance. Okay, that's a long comment. I was kind of trying, and I was trying to kind of read ahead when I was reading that. That's why sometimes people will be like, I don't get that. Sometimes he reads his comments smooth, and sometimes he's reading slow. That's because I'm reading, but I'm also reading ahead and then saying it afterwards. So I'm assuming, and I don't know who that is, but when you say Uncle Sal, I'm wondering if that ain't Salivate Metals. I do watch Salivate Metals, and I followed him for a while too. I personally don't mind him. I like him. I understand how some people view YouTubers as, because I get put in a category too. Don't get me wrong. I hear some people say, oh, you're out of touch. You think that the price ain't going to go up or this and that. I think the price is going to go up. I just don't like that some channels are making it sound like you're going to see $1,000 silver this year. I don't really believe that's likely to happen. However, my prediction for last year was $50 silver, and the actual close was $71 silver, I think. $72 silver. Granted, it was technically a little higher than that. We just had that huge beatdown right on the last day of the year, which I think was very coincidental. They didn't want it showing. But really, they would have been better off just giving it a big year and then not making it 2 big years in a row. And because the way they did that, we got a early start to the year. And I knew that was going to play out like that when they beat it down on the last day, that it was just going to make it through into the new month. Now we're 17 days into the month at the time of doing this video, and we're up more than $17. We're up technically, yeah. So we went down to 72, we'll say, maybe 74, 84, 90. Yeah, you're almost $16, $17 at least up already, and we're only 17. If silver keeps going up $1 a day, think about what that would mean. Now, let's be honest. I don't think we're going to see $1 a day every day for the whole year, average. I do think we're going to go higher, though. And I said from the get-go when I made my prediction for what I think silver will be this year, $150 at the end of the year would be nice. But based off of previous calculations and the way the markets are playing out, I actually think we could be closer to 175, 180 as the year comes to an end. But my official answer at the beginning of the year, I said I think the year will close out at 150. I said it in the very first video of the year, so I can go back and find it really easy later. So some channels, they think a lot more optimistic, like things are all going to just go downhill quick. And they can. Don't get me wrong. Those people are not necessarily wrong. But when I really listen to them, they never say their timeline. Silver's going to go to $5,000. I'd bet my reputation on it. Okay, so that was their statement. Are they wrong? If we go to $5,000 in 20 years from now, well, they were right. But people aren't thinking that. They're wanting to know now, I believe. What's going to happen this year? What's going to happen in the next 6 months? What's going to happen at the end of the month? Those are the numbers that I want to focus on. A lot of you, including myself, will probably not be holding the amount of metals that they're holding in 3 or 4 years from now. I personally have told you guys I would like to go to another country. I want to either go. I've been around the world. Being military, I've traveled all over, not everywhere. Part of me wanted to go live in Mexico. Part of me wants to go live in the Philippines. I want to go somewhere else where I can have my U.S. dollars and enjoy their lifestyle. A lot of that has to do with prices of stuff here in the United States. A lot of that has to do with the family structure in other countries compared to the United States. I don't necessarily want to say the morals of people, because there is a very wide range of everything here in the United States. Morals, religion, family. I am very conservative. And I know some people may not like that. I'm a very conservative person. I try to follow what the Bible says. And I don't feel that is necessarily the direction of the United States anymore. But I'm still a patriot. I'm a proud American. That's why I gave up a lot of my life and my better years to retire from the military. With that being said, we're going to jump on the next one. But great comments. There's just a lot of different viewpoints when it comes to YouTubers. And I appreciate you recognizing that I do have balance. I'm not going to come on here and tell you guys something that I don't agree with. Next one. I'm kind of looking ahead at something real quick. Anybody who says anything is cheaper since the orange... I'm not sure how you pronounce that word. I'm just going to say orange guy. Took power again is a liar. Money Metals supports this regime. Okay. So here's the way I look at that, and I'm not going to get real political because I try to stay away from that. The way I look at it, we only had two choices. Those were the best two choices that America had to offer. A lot of people do not even believe that your vote does matter. A lot of people think it's already all set ahead of time, who's going to be in this and that. And I'm not going to say I think he stole power. I think he was voted in the second time. But I also think, why was he voted in the second time? I think he was voted in the second time because people were tired of the direction things were going previously. Do I think his policies were all correct? No, I don't. I don't think any candidate walks on water. I've never had a candidate yet where I've said he has been 100% right. I've kind of against the tariffs. I don't think they're helping. And I think some people do not want to reverse course. When they make a mistake, sometimes people will just eat crow and go with it. But everybody's going to have a different opinion on tariffs. I don't think Venezuela was a smart move. I definitely don't think Greenland's a smart move if he decides to do that. But I don't think he will. But I didn't think he would take Venezuela either. So who knows? I mean, but there are some people out there that says, who cares? The price of metals will go up the more stuff happens. Yes, but at a very harsh cost. I don't want to make a profit over someone's life, essentially. I wish things would just work out and we could all just play nice. Unfortunately, what people don't understand is I'm not even convinced that it has a lot to do with who's running the show right now, as much as it has to do with the real problem, who is controlling the money that we call money. The Federal Reserve is the problem. They are overprinting money. They're making it to where candidates, presidents, people in power think that they can just print and nothing bad is going to happen. The whole point of the Fed was supposed to be a sovereign entity, I guess you can call it, if you want to call it sovereign, maybe a non-biased entity to kind of make sure that things keep going on the right track. Well, the right track is they're purposely stealing 3% of our wealth every year, at least. 2.5% is supposedly good. How is you taking 2% of my money good? There's no good. Oh, well, then the price of your assets go up. Okay, what about the people that don't have assets? What about the people that don't have homes, that are renting? What about the people that can't afford food? That's what people are not really factoring in, I believe. And some people realize it. If you're stacking precious metals, you realize it. You get it. You've definitely done the fundamentals. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But like I said, I don't want to get too political. Jumping into the next one. Oh no, it dropped below 90. I've heard that a lot this week. Uh, I'm eager for things to settle down wherever they will, but it's going to be a while. Hopefully, Trump just takes Greenland and calls it a day. Easy win. Every other harebrained crusader is a big fail. Like I said, I don't really want to see him try to take Greenland because that is going to cause some problems. I'm not even going to make comparisons in major world history. Because like I said, I mean, those were the two best candidates we had, and I don't think the other one was any good either. Well, I shouldn't say either. That doesn't even come out right either. But, I mean, that was the best. Think about that for a minute. And I definitely wasn't happy with the last 4 years term before that. So, I feel that people were covering for him. He wasn't really doing. I mean, you look what happens with the whole Ukraine issue. I think that was kind of a flop. A flop that did not go away once we got the new administration, like we were told that it probably would go away. It didn't. So I got mixed feelings on that whole deal too. Let's see. Reckless Collections. Morning tea. Happy Friday. Yeah, and here's the thing. I used to always get scolded in the past when I was married. She would always be like, why do you have to talk about politics at work, dude? These people are running the show, and you want to bring up politics. I said, if they're wrong, they're wrong. So I'm not trying to get into politics too much. People have to understand, though. Respect other people's opinion to a certain point. Listen to it, and then choose to do whatever. The truth of the matter is, none of us have any say-so over anything. We don't. If they want to take Greenland, they're gonna. If they don't want to, they're not gonna. Me and you don't have any part in this. Unless you're like the president or the vice president, you're watching this video, please leave me a comment and a thumbs up. I would be shocked if you were watching my video. I'd probably, no matter who you are, ask for an autograph. But, it is what it is. Let's see. Nothing has changed. China's price is still $11 higher than the U.S. price. I don't know if it's $11 higher, but it was definitely $5 or $10 higher. If it is $11 higher, wow, think about that. I've always said the price that we're looking at, it's fake. This price right here, this little fake ticker, it's fake. In fact, the Wall Street Reddit group. Oh, this was interesting right here. This blew my mind when I had seen this. I'm going to talk about this in tomorrow's video. This was kind of mind-blowing. U.S. Mint started doing silver coins again. And their prices are crazy. But we're going to talk about that and what that means probably Sunday now. It didn't do it what I want. I wanted it to duplicate it. There we go. Do this. The reason I wanted to pull this up to duplicate it is I want you to see this right here. Boom. It says it right here. Fake price ticker. I think the Wall Street Silver Group said it best right here. Fake price ticker. It doesn't matter what this price is. You can't get it for this price. If you're lucky enough to get it for this price, you're probably doing really well, especially when it tanks. The fact that it went up, I'm really surprised that it kind of jumped up right here at the end of the day. But that could be because they want to make sure anybody that buys on the weekend, which is when most of you do buy, they're paying a little bit more for it. But it's because no matter what, you're going to be buying this weekend. It doesn't really matter if it was 70, 80, 85, 90, 95. Y'all were going to go out probably and buy, a lot of you. And so driving the price up a little bit on Friday is a smart move in my opinion. They're going to get us to spend a little bit more unless you're going to sit there and wait and try to get to the coin shop on Tuesday or Thursday or whatever. Most people aren't going to wait. They're not going to risk it. So because of that, pick up what you can when you can. Let's see. 2026 might be the lowest mintage Ooh, that could very well be. That's a good point to think of. 2026 might be the lowest mintage American Silver Eagle ever in the history. That's very interesting to think about. How many ASCs did the Mint issue before they halted? So here's the thing. I didn't even think they did, but now they're already back making them. They've just drastically raised their prices on everything. This was not a coincidental, because I didn't believe this when I seen it. It said, WTF, the Mint just updated their prices to $169 silver an ounce. Clearly, they're evaluating an ounce of silver a whole lot higher. What are you going to pay when you go to buy an ounce? You're probably going to pay a little bit more if you're even lucky enough to find Silver Eagles. This could drive the demand up for these through the roof. If I was buying something from them right now and I'm going to pay $169 for last year's or $173 for this year's, I'm taking this year's because I don't think a lot of people will eat that at $125. At $173. And a lot of us already have last year's. I've got a bunch from last year that I've picked up. So it's an opinion. We'll see what happens. It's going to definitely get interesting. Don't get down on yourself, T. You're doing a great job. Oh, I realize I'm doing pretty good on YouTube. I just get frustrated with the whole YouTube doesn't want to share the videos. It doesn't feel like it's promoting it as much, and so who knows. Chuck Jones made it to the end of the video. I appreciate that, buddy. Can't thank you enough for that. Let's see. Happy Stacker. Hey, my friend. No worries here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy Stacker. Let's see. Hey, T, I hyped you. I bought 2 rolls of 1/2 ounce, 1/2 Franklins and Walkers, though I got shorted by one. Walker weighed 4.5 grams less than the Franklin, 1150 in silverware. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of that now. I have one friend, when he sells me junk silver, he will actually weigh it and give me the price. And then I will tell him I'd like to still count it out real quick. I'll count it out, and sometimes I'll take the price. Sometimes he'll realize there's a little less in there than he thought, and he'll end up giving me a little of a better offer. I picked up some cool stuff that was way under spot because of wear. But I understand where you're coming from. A lot of people actually would prefer 1964. I picked up a 1964 the other day, uncirculated, BU condition. The guy's like, how's $30 sound? I said, I'll take it. I picked up a 6-gram Millennium Eagle the other day. Had a price sticker of $12, but it was only 6 grams. And I was like, I'll take 6 grams of silver for $12. To me, that's a good deal. And I think to most of you that does out the math on the gram, understand that that is a good deal. So, that's something to think about. Keep your eyes open on the deals. And then the $12, all I had was 15. And I said, okay, so you owe me 3 back. I said, if you want, you can just give me a dime, a silver dime. He's like, I'll do that. I mean, that just gave me a little bit more of an edge. A silver dime for $3 when 6 1/4, or $6.50. So you got to look for the deals. Be willing to throw that out. Remember, some of these coin shops, they forget. It's not that they forget the prices, but they take it for granted because they've got so much of it on hand. They're just riding the wave right now. A lot of these coin shops, they've got tons of it, and they are riding the wave. Let's see. Morning tea. Late, but here. Let's talk silver. and gold and stuff. Thank you so much. Yes, gold and silver. That's what we talk about all the time. Some people say they wish I would bring back the gardening. Some people say they wish I'd bring back the chicken videos. Some people say they wish I'd bring back the couponing, the cooking. I've heard a lot of people say the cooking. The chicken's probably by far the most popular video. For those of you that don't know, yes, I used to raise my own chickens, eat my own chickens, get my eggs from my own chickens, and then during cough, they all mysteriously got sick. And I saw them, in some cases, I seen them run across my yard and all of a sudden just drop of a heart attack right in front of me. I'm like, what in the world? Couldn't move, just paralyzed right there. And that was a hard time for me, actually, because I did really enjoy them. Let's see. Gas is, so Scott McNeil, gas is $2.98 to $3.10 in the PNW. Is that PNW? SA? I'm not sure what PNW is. Or even SA. For the gold and silver ratio, why would you get rid of something that is outperforming what you want to get? I think I'll wait longer before I decide to trade over. Gold is for big purchases, to be honest. I'd rather use silver to pay for what I want. There's going to be a time when an ounce of silver will be for big purchases, and fractional will be used for smaller purchases. Okay, so I've said I think the gold-silver ratio is still too high before I consider. When do I start considering? I'll be honest. I mean, if you can trade a tube and a half, that's 30 ounces for an ounce of gold, I would be tempted to do it. Space eventually will become a problem for a lot of people. I've told you guys my situation where I've got safety deposit boxes. Some people don't like that. Maybe I'm making the wrong choice with that, but it hasn't burned me yet. And I like the fact that that stuff is secure. I'm pretty open about what I do. A lot of people know that I do it. So because of that, I don't want to keep stuff at my house at all. I've been broken into. I've said it time and time again. And an ounce of gold versus 30 ounces of silver, I wouldn't do it at 50, I can tell you that. There's no way I would give up 50 ounces of silver, because silver is outperforming. People just don't see it yet. There's a reason why the Mint just upped their numbers. In fact, I probably shouldn't do this right now, but now I'm wondering, real quick, we're going to take a quick break here. Not a break in the sense of a break, but in the sense of, I was checking out this cool coin right here. This is Superman. This is from the U.S. Mint, half-ounce gold coin. But I want to see one thing real quick. That's the two new ones. Pretty cool. But I wouldn't pay that for a half ounce of gold. But what I am curious about is a 1 ounce gold eagle. Someone's already probably knows what I'm going to calculate here. Clear. $5,400 divided by, I'm going to use the 169 because that's the cheaper, an uncirculated eagle, 169. I'm curious. Divided by 169. Huh. Look at that. Tell me that ain't coincidental. 31.95. Where do you think the government sees us going? The U.S. Mint on their website has a 31.95 ratio on the gold-silver ratio. And ironically, like I said, 30 to 1, I would be tempted to trade. 40, I might do one or two, but I don't even think I would. I think I would wait to this number. Everything I've studied and looked at points to 30 to 1 being an easy target, 20 to 1 being possible. They'll probably revalue, though. When we get to 30 to 1, they will definitely probably revalue the prices again. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy. That came up 31, 32. So, who knows? We'll see. And for those of you that don't know what I just did, that was using the U.S. Mint silver price and the U.S. Mint average gold price, and breaking it down to what that translates to. Let's see. Chris Paul, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're having a great day. Hey, T, could you discuss how many times they can raise margins? As in, can they max out at some point? And what would that look like, good or bad? Repercussions wise for stackers. Thanks. In their own views, do things in life because they give you joy. First of all, yes, do things in life that gives you joy. I got to say, that is a very wise comment. I'll say if someone makes a comment like that, that's a wise comment for a wise person. So, yeah, try to enjoy your life a little bit. Don't just always do something you don't like. I actually know people that go to work right now and they hate their job. And I've asked them, so why do you do it? Why? I don't get it. Why would you do a job that you hate every day? Well, it pays me. You think there's not another million jobs out there that will pay you what you're getting now? It's just a matter of you looking. Maybe you have to work a little harder, but to do something you enjoy. I mean, I do enjoy making these videos. I just get frustrated sometimes. But that's just, the way it is. Talking about margins. So how many times can they do margins? They can only really do margins until there is no margins. So, yeah, they could max it out until you're basically just putting your own money up and there's no essentially margins at all. You're buying with what you have the money for. What does that do? Yeah, that naturally will slow down the amount that people can buy. I'll give you an example. You guys know I told y'all I ended up using my credit to buy a bunch of silver at $32. And that would be an equivalent of borrowing money. It's exactly what it is to buy extra ounces. If I didn't have the ability to borrow money at 0%, then I wouldn't have been able to do that, and I would have less ounces, and it would be less pressure. But you could make the argument for how little you bought, that's a very small amount of pressure. And you're right, that is. But being able to use margins allows a lot of buying. But I can't help to wonder if they raise the margins. Obviously, I do believe that will hurt the silver price. However, I think people understand what's going on now. Companies understand. Companies are looking for opportunity to pick up more silver. And so at the end of the day, I don't think it's really going to have a drastic. In the short run, it will. I mean, you do a margin rate change, and what instantly happens? You instantly will see a drop in the silver price. But people readjust, companies readjust, and then all of a sudden it's right back up there. That's why we're seeing the extreme volatility right now, I think, that we're seeing. And I think that's going to continue to keep up. But every time you have these volatility moves, it doesn't take long. It takes less and less time before we're back up to that high or that all-time high even. Let's see here. At some point, would it look good or bad? I think it will be bad and good. Bad for the short run, good for the long run. I don't mind that they're not able to borrow money. I don't think people should be able to borrow money. It would be nice if they would implement the same policy on Bitcoin, but I know some people would not like that. Bitcoin, the only reason Bitcoin keeps going up is in some cases people can do huge margins. Someone left me a comment one day that he's a Bitcoin trader, and he said that you could margin literally 100 to 1 on Bitcoin because it's I don't know if he said it because it's an unsecure asset or what the deal is exactly on why they can margin that much, but that's crazy. totally unfair, but it gives them a lot more leverage to buy even more to drive that price up. And we'll see what happens in the end. I think when people do that, it's not going to be pretty. Moving on down to the next comment. Mike, how's it going? Hope you're having a great night. With the volatility seen in prices as of late, it makes it harder to continue previous accumulating practices. Buying on a schedule or dollar cost averaging is very tricky now. Adding some shorts is a good idea, but I think 30 to 45 minute videos, 2 a day, would be your sweet spot. Also, I believe acknowledging the comments and discussing user feedback is what makes a lot of your followers feel more engaged with the channel. I think incorporating more into the videos would improve your overall value a lot for the users. For many of us have lived double secret life, stacking and keeping quiet, except for private engagements to friends and loved ones who may, or most of the time, not appreciate what we are trying to do. Your voice is an echo of what we privately want to scream at people, to everyone we know. Your voice is our voice. We appreciate all your hard work and dedication to your community, to our community. When we have all made gazillions of dollars and your channel shifts gears to life in the Philippines, I got to say, or another country, because I've got a couple friends say, go to Thailand, go to different places. We will be happy to watch you barter with street vendors, and that is definitely something I enjoy doing. But it's hard to barter in some countries when they're like next to nothing. I mean, think about this. I'm going to assume at some point our silver stack's going to be worth a chunk. And you go to one of these countries and they're like, is that a U.S. quarter? Essentially, whatever a quarter relate. I mean, you think some of these currencies are 100 to 1. I mean, so it's like bartering. Can you do 5 of their currency? And it's like 5 cents to us, like a Russian ruble. If someone tells you 5 Russian rubles, do you really even try to barter with that? That's 5 cents. So it's kind of crazy. I was actually just watching. The only reason I brought that up is because I was just watching a girl that one of the things she does in Russia is she goes into the grocery stores and shows you guys food products, how much they cost, like their new Hello Kitty McDonald's chicken sandwich. They actually added food coloring of some sort to make the burger bun pink. I thought that was kind of cool, but she'll show the prices and she'll say, it's overrated. Food coloring, it's cool, it's pink, but it just tastes like a dry chicken burger. So who knows? But yeah, I hope everybody will still follow me. I like your thinking on that. I know some people have said you should incorporate more precious metals. That is very difficult for me to do nowadays because I don't keep anything at my house. I can't show you guys stuff. However, some of the people that I do go see, I do show some of their stuff, but that's a little slower. Some people don't want their stuff being seen. Even if you don't know who the person is, they still don't want it being seen. For those people, I can't do anything about it. I got one friend, he wants me to meet up with him and check everything he has for silver because he bought some stuff from a company that I'm not going to say the name, even though I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now in my tabs. Needless to say, he got a 5-ounce bar and it's testing at 92.5%. How that happened is beyond me. Now he's a little worried. And I said, I wouldn't really worry too much. I think it was their own bar. They melted it down. They stamped it with their logo. It's possible. Some people said it's possible he bought a 925 and didn't realize it. But if the coin says 999, but then again, the bar says 999 silver. So the fact that it's testing at 92.5% is crazy to me. So who knows? But he asked if I could maybe meet up one day and test that stuff. I said, of course, dude. And I said, I'm not going to make a friend, have to buy me anything. And, I said, I'll just come to your work one day and hang out with you for a little bit. Let's see. Robert, good morning. I truly get a lot out of your videos. Thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate you saying that, my friend. I'm hoping people are getting some of this information. It's retaining. I always tell people, when you're trying to teach someone something, I don't expect people. I don't think for a minute everybody is going to retain everything I say. But everything I say is like little seeds being planted. And you're going to remember something that I said. And those seeds are going to grow into thoughts, ideas. And one day it is just going to snap and it's all going to come together that money is gold and silver. And they are literally cheating us out of our labor, out of our items, out of our life, everything. And then you're in a whole different ballpark once you get to that point. Good morning. Hard that Elemental is buying $15 back of spot. Yes. Did I say that? Or how did you know that? I might have said that because I know that. But I didn't think I said that. $15 back of spot. That was crazy when I had seen that. And I actually seen it from an authorized seller. So, yeah. However, that tells me that they know something has happened or is about ready to happen and they're acquiring. Or it tells me that they are so backlogged of people selling at $90 silver that they're trying to slow the flow to them. And instead, if it was me, I would be tempted to just keep buying. But I understand what they're doing. By saying $15 back, there are going to be some people that are going to just buy it and hold it. You're forcing people the next level down to hold because they're not going to turn down. They might say $15 back, but they're going to keep acquiring. They're not going to send. There's no way people are going to send for $15 back a spot. However, some people will send it in to have it melted down if they need the money or they've got too much. But it definitely, when they start offering that to people, what do you think people are going to say? If someone offered me that, I would probably laugh in their face. There's no way I would take $15 back. Not a chance. However, I mean, I understand there's got to be a profit for everybody. So, let's see. Todd, yeah, T. YouTube is playing games. I was wondering why your videos weren't coming up and seen it wasn't even subscribed anymore. Yeah, that kind of stuff irks the heck out of me. I've talked to people that have said that too. Some of them close friends. Even a secondary account of mine, which is mine, my personal email. Obviously, one day I was logged in on my personal email and I said, oh, hey, why is none of my stuff coming up? Couldn't figure out why the normal channels that I follow weren't subscribed. And then I was like, oh, it's my personal account. So it doesn't know the real me. It knows the fake me. And so I jumped over to my real channel and I said, I'm not subscribed. I'll subscribe. Like 3-4 months later, I look back and it's not subscribed. So yeah, I know that's happening. There's no way to argue it or what you can do about it. Thanks, T. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much, Jack. I appreciate that. Hopefully it will be a good weekend. We got some cold weather. It's going to be good. Stay home, cook a good meal, hang out at the house, clean. Maybe go out and barbecue. I know some people are like, dude, it's 40 degrees and you're out barbecuing. I mean, I'm firing up the grill, putting a couple steaks on it. I guess that's barbecuing, but I'm not sitting out there watching them cook. So yeah, it's going to be a good weekend, I hope. Let's see. I started stacking in 2021, and I'm happy. I'm a happy camper over the silver prices. I remember the doubt I had the first 2.5 years, thinking I had made a mistake. I dollar cost averaged per average, and now more than ever into the black. Yeah. I've actually seen old videos of mine where I remember one video. Hey guys, this is exactly how I sounded. Hey, what's up, YouTubers? T Square Talk here. So I just wanted to show this purchase that I bought. I just bought this kilo bar, $600. I'm really wondering if I made a mistake. The spot price today is $19, down a little bit more from 22. But I kind of got to just double down. I mean, the price is coming down. I've got to buy. Hopefully, I don't regret this in 5 years. But there goes another $600 on 1 kilo bar of silver. It is, though, a really cool bar. It's a Scottsdale bar, which is pretty cool. It's got the lion on it, as you can see. That was one of my videos. And now I watched that video not too long ago, and I was like, a kilo for 600. Should have bet the farm on it. I should have just, instead of having real estate, I should have converted all my real estate into silver. Unfortunately, I didn't believe in it like that. I just knew that it was undervalued. And I knew even more as time went on. Once, like I said, a day comes where all those little seeds grow, and all of a sudden you've got a field of knowledge. And now you understand. And that's a game changer. Joe hitting that thumbs up button for me. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate that. Too sweet for life. What is up? Thanks. I enjoy the content. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I can't thank you enough for that. Okay, Jack. I enjoy watching silver swing $5 a day. Not me, but it does give opportunity. It's exciting, and it was $30 a year ago. Can you see a correlation between the videos we get to hype? No. And I'll tell you why. So yeah, a year ago we were at $30. It's pretty crazy realizing now we are 3x in 1 year. Nowhere near the all-time high in my personal opinion. As for the videos we get to hype, here's why I don't see the correlation. And if there is one, it ain't that big. I have had numerous people say that they have hyped videos this week. So, taking a quick look, we got 618 videos. And if you hyped one of these videos, you can see for yourself. 618 views, 826 views, 675 views, 719 views. If there is any kind of 851 views, if there is any kind of a correlation here, I don't see anything because they're all within 150 views of each other, which tells me the regular subscribers watch this stuff every day. A handful of other people see the videos, and that's it. So yeah, I haven't seen any correlation, but still hype because they are in the beta phase and it's not fully worked out yet. And they've said this. So anything you can hype is still extremely, I can't thank you enough. Let's see, maybe start giving out other metals prices like copper and nickel. I'm not worried about this little drop. It will be back shortly. Scary when it only is going up. Maybe you can do a cooking with T-Square once a week, or fishing. So fishing, no, I can't do any fishing. If you've seen a fishing video, it is only because a few years ago I was dating a lady that was huge in fishing. She would literally want to wake me up at 5 in the morning and say, "Can we go fishing?" And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm not a fishing person. I'm definitely not a morning person. In the morning, I'm kind of slow dragging. That's why I pop my Diet Cokes like they're going out of style. I drink a lot of Diet Coke. And I know some people, like I said, have said that's bad for you. In fact, I got an empty Diet Coke can right here beside me as I just drank it while I was doing the video. And I probably shouldn't be. I was told I should stop drinking Diet Coke at midnight, and that's why you don't sleep well. Let's see. As for giving other metal prices, absolutely. I should start talking a little bit more about copper and nickel. I think a time's going to come. I mean, even now, it's getting frustrating talking about silver with that kind of just in its channel, which is good. That's good. But I think copper and nickel are going to be the next big ones later on. Cooking with T-Square. I do enjoy the cooking. However, my current kitchen status is definitely not something that I would want to show until I get it worked out. Definitely, if I go to the Philippines, you'll be seeing a lot of cooking videos because I learn by doing. That's the easiest way for me to learn. I can watch someone cook a dish and have it memorized one time, and then I can make it myself. That's why I've worked at a couple restaurants, even though it wasn't really work since I wasn't really getting paid at all. I was just doing it to learn. I have friends that own restaurants. You guys know that. And if I want to learn something, I ended up going to one Chinese food restaurant. And I did it, like 1 or 2 days a week for free. And I just ended up learning how to cook their recipes. I loved it. Tom Yum, that's one that I like making. Orange chicken, sesame cheese chicken, lots of stir fries, that type of stuff. Fried rice. I like my fried spare ribs. All kinds of good stuff. Okay, so let's see. Next one. Moving on down that list. We got a lot of comments. Let's see. This is going to be a long video. You guys may not even finish it. Let's see. Hey, T, thanks for the content. I have a quick question on 90%. What is the fiat dollar of $132 in face 90% silver? I know it's 140 to equal an ounce of silver, but it's fiat equivalent. Oh. So the way I would calculate that would be real simple. I would come to, where is it? It's up here. I would come right here, coinflation.com. And I would look and see 90% junk silver, $132, you said. So we're going to come here. Now, there's a couple ways to figure this. You have to understand first that, and because this is something I didn't know for the longest time. Someone corrected me on the channel. A Morgan dollar or a peace dollar is not equal to 4 quarters or 10 dimes. I used to always think, no, 10 dimes is exactly 1 peace dollar. That is not true. A Morgan dollar or a peace dollar have a little bit more. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. So I would end up doing something like this. I would click on the Mercury dime. Actually, no, we'll do the quarter for easy math. This is how you're going to figure this out. Now, if you have the app on your phone, like I've said, you can just type it in, how many quarters you got, and boom, it does all the work for you. This one, I'm looking if you can type in somewhere. Boom. Close. Let's see here. See if it comes up. What's going on here? Come on. Okay, so we're not going to be able to get it to work on here because I'm on a computer. On your phone, it's super easy. But the way we're going to do this real quick so you can have the easiest thing. Your question was $132. Okay. So we're going to do this. And we're going to pull up this screen too so I can at least see what the value is. But $132. Darn it. Clear. You said 132.00. We're going to multiply that by 4 times 4. That is 528 quarters. It does not matter if it's 2 quarters or 5 dimes. That's 528 quarters. Next thing we're going to do is see how much a quarter is. $16.30 right here. 190% quarter is worth right now $16.30, technically 31 cents, but it's a little under 31, so we're going to say 30 times $16.30. Holy smokes. Your $132 is worth $8,606 in fiat dollars. I think you understood how I got that. All you need to know is the value of 1 quarter. You can get that from Coinflation. You take the amount of dollars you have, multiply that by 4 because you're dealing in quarters. If we were doing dimes, it would be the exact same ratio. I want you to think about that. So remember, 8606. We're going to clear this out for a quick minute. We're going to hit 528. Divide by 4 to put us back into dollars. That's 132. Now we're going to multiply it by 10, or I'm sorry, 0.10. Nope. I'm sorry. I did that wrong. Darn it. 132 divided by, I hit times by earlier, 0.10 equals 13,000 dimes. 13,020 dimes. We're going to come here. We're going to click on, doesn't matter if it's a Roosevelt dime, a Mercury dime. It does not matter. $6.53. We're going to times that by $6.53. And we're still going to be a little off because we're only using 2 decimal points. Let's say 16. Nope, I can't do it now. So there is going to be a little bit of a difference, but not much of one. You just need to remember, break down the count. Go to Coinflation. That's the way. That's the easiest way to do it. If I had my phone here, I'd actually show you on my phone real quick. But you come here, just multiply it out. It's super easy. The number I gave you earlier was the correct number, though. And the reason is, each of these values, they're rounding them in these equations. See, this one they didn't round right here, this Mercury dime. They actually got $6.57 point, but there's actually 2 zeros, so it takes it a little different. This nickel right here. Oh, and remember, it's going to vary a little bit if you have 35% nickels or 40% half dollars. Do not, this goes for everybody, do not make the mistake of taking a 40% half dollar, 40% half dollar, and counting it for 90%. Someone handed me a roll a little while back, and there was actually 4 40% coins in there. Don't make that mistake. He didn't realize it. He's like, oh, shoot. And I said, yeah, I'm not interested in those. He goes, what if I give you a really good deal? What's a really good deal? He goes, you want them for $10 a piece? I said, no, I'm probably still going to pass at $10 a piece. And I didn't get them. Sometimes, though, if they say $8, I'll take them for 8. But I want you to think about $10. $10 is a nice little discount since they're $13.42 right now. But I don't want that clutter. I'd rather put that money to something that's a little more pure. 40%, it's got to be a good deal for me to want it. And I think that answered your question. If that did not answer your question, go ahead and leave another comment, and I'll answer it in the video. Or not in the video, in the comment for sure. Let's see, Charlie, good morning. Love the videos. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that more than you know. Pilo, morning, T. I hyped you again this morning. Thank you so much, my friend. I can't thank you enough for those hype buttons. Richard, good morning. I haven't bought anything lately. Gonna try to find some good deals today. Friday, you probably picked up a few good deals. Over the weekend, the prices are set, and you might do really well, I think. Christian Love, thanks, T. Algorithm, plus. Yeah, hitting that comment just to help me with the algorithm. I can't thank you enough, my friend. Brandon, hype function was available today, so I hyped it. Thank you so much. Yeah, you only get 3 at any given time, so 3 per week, I think. So definitely thank you so much for hitting that hype button. Let's see. Why he do that? Hope you're having a great night. Never give up. Trust your instincts. Do a barrel roll. Yeah, I'm not gonna give up. I don't think anytime soon. I got time. Worst case scenario, I go to the Philippines. I keep the channel going between that now and then with Silver. Eventually, I make it to the Philippines. And then y'all be watching my cool Filipino cook-offs or Filipina cook-offs where, who knows, I'll be learning myself how to cook certain recipes, and you'll be watching somebody cooking up the recipes. I think it will be maybe I'll do a Filipina and a Filipino cook-off. So that way everybody can enjoy watching, seeing who's better at cooking. It's always fun. Let's see, good video. Gas was $2.99 up here in Ohio. I have 30 ounces set aside for a while. The ratio goes 30-1. Boom, you're ready to go. Also, my hype button was back, and I got to hype you again. Thank you so much, my friend. I can't thank you enough, and I appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend. Good morning, T. We just play this crazy game one day at a time, and that is very true. That is about all we can do. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see. Bro, I told you, show more medals and make less busy and different thumbnails. Simply try it out. So here's the deal. I've tried it out. I'm going to show you in a minute. Bring more views, subs, shares, comments, medals. Simply, bro, listen to me. Here's the deal. Where am I going to get these medals from? I'm not going to bring them to my house and risk having a bunch of precious metals at my house where people can come in and just visit and just stuff walks away. So I can't do that. As for the thumbnails, I did try the thumbnail idea, and I will show you. Scroll down. You can see all these episodes. They're not really complicated thumbnails. Let's be honest. These thumbnails are pretty basic. This thumbnail right here. I want people to recognize my videos. If you see this YouTube T-Square Talk in the bottom of every thumbnail, that to me is brand recognition. So that's why that's like that. I've tried simple ones. This is pretty non-busy thumbnail over here. Selling your silver. Here, I'll put it on the top row so you know which one I'm looking at. Selling your silver. How, what, why, when. Answered all the questions. 600 views. Looking for, what did that say? Looking for silver deals. 505 views. You know, so I've tried different thumbnails, and the thumbnail thing didn't really help me. It really didn't. I even tried like this one right here. This one did good, but not for that reason. This one did good because we went up $5 that day on silver. So that's why that actually did really good. And in order to make these thumbnails, they charge you to use AI. If you're going to keep using AI, this was a little different one right here. I'll move that to the top so you know I'm talking about the top one. It's a fancier, it's a cool gold, silver, copper, investing in mining stocks, 400 views. You know, so I've tried doing different stuff, And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Buying opportunity for silver at as the price goes higher. 497 views. Here's the thing. I can see who watches the videos. I can go to my dashboard, which YouTube sends me a sheet every day that I can just upload real quick and check it. And it says, of the 600 people that watch my videos, literally 500 of them are already subscribed to the channel and watch every day. Regular viewers. Of the other ones, 100 new people will watch the video and make it to the end. There is a couple things that it tells me that is happening that is hurting the channel. I'm not going to say what it is, because if there's a naysayer on here right now, they are going to go and do it just to try to hurt me. There are people that watch the video that don't have my best interest, unfortunately. So that's why I'm not going to say what it is that's happening, but I don't know how to counter that yet. And I've looked into it, but it's just something you got to figure out. That's why I asked y'all, hit that thumbs up button, and just kind of go with it. So it's not like I'm not listening to you. I listen to every comment, everybody. And I thank you for that comment. But there's only so much I can do to not make myself vulnerable. I don't want to grow my channel at the cost of putting my stack in jeopardy. Right now, my stack is nowhere near me. So I'm not going to lose it. You see what I'm saying? If I bring it near me, it becomes vulnerable, in my opinion. If you keep it at your house, it's vulnerable, especially if people know what you do. Let's see. Keep it up. Don't be discouraged. The views will come. And that's kind of my thoughts on that. The views will eventually come. The channel will grow. And we'll just get there one day at a time. Let's see. Donnell Jackson, good morning. I hope and pray you're doing well. Silver will be just fine. And just because they haven't manipulated it doesn't mean silver won't bounce back up again. I'm in this for the long run. I'm not selling unless I have to. Donnell, I would agree with what you said. I mean, they can try to manipulate it, but I think I don't think they have the ability as much anymore. They can try, but I think in trying, they're getting crushed now every time it goes up a little higher. And I even think one of our enemies, I hate to say that, of the stacking community, which is JM Bullion. Not JM, my bad. Shoot. Let me retract that. I did not say that correctly, which is JP. JP Morgan? No, I forgot. Shoot, why am I off? Yeah, JP Morgan. I think JP Morgan has semi-flip sides, and JP Morgan is going to save itself. And I think a lot of banks are still trying to play the old game, even though I think JP Morgan has switched and they are no longer as short as a lot of these other banks. It's a dirty game out there. So I said JM Bullion, JP Morgan. Sorry. Let's see. I hope it's going to $20 an ounce. I'll buy a big box, big boy box. Yeah. It would be nice, but I don't think that will happen. Not really. Morning tea, everyone. Welcome to the new year. Gonna get nice and chilly this weekend. Yes, you've probably already got it up there. You're further north than me, so usually when you say it's chilly out, I'm like, ooh, that means it's coming. Yeah, so it's supposed to be a chilly weekend this weekend. Morning, I hyped again. Silver Solutions. Let's hype the channel, y'all. Just got to keep it up, T. You can get the traction. Time of release matters too. We got to work on the algorithm. Why don't we do some lives with other people? Just to have conversations. We can stream and just chat about stuff we're seeing in our areas and discuss what's going on. So yeah, if anybody has a YouTube channel and they want to reach out to me, but I don't really know how to do all that just yet. So I hate to say it, I might need someone to kind of show me or shoot me some info on that. And I don't really have anybody to stream with, per se. I guess my camera, I could just switch camera modes and just you guys be looking at an ounce of silver while I'm talking, because I don't like to show myself anymore now until I make some more changes. Let's see. We love you, bro, despite the algos. And I realize that. I realize it's the algo that don't like me. Okay, so now we're coming up on some nice short good morning, so we're going to kind of cruise through, but this is going to be a long one, I think. We got a lot of comments. I'm surprised there's this many comments. Whenever I start to think about a silver dime isn't much, I think about gold, 2 pesos, and how people thought that wasn't much either. They feel similar in my head since both are 90%. So yeah, 2 pesos are pretty cool. I remember when they were cheap. A silver dime doesn't feel like much, but you look at a silver dime now, $6.50. It's starting to feel like something. You think about that. You could probably get a Subway sandwich with a coupon for a silver dime. Think about that for a minute. When I get coupons in the mail, usually that's like a $6 or $7 foot long. Boom, that's almost a silver dime. Another couple months and a silver dime will probably buy you a foot long sandwich. So it's like I was buying my foot long sandwiches years ago, only so I can trade those dimes in and still get them foot long sandwiches for that same price. So who knows? You can look at it like that even. Thank you so much. Every little bit does matter when it comes to stacking. Don't be fooled. Absolutely great comment. Okay, changed my strategy. I went in to trade silver for gold, but no gold. I looked around and got 5 Barbara quarters and a Barbara dime, $78. So I decided that it's all I'm buying when spot was above 70. Barbara seeded Liberty coinage is 90%. So yeah, so first of all, people are buying less. It's just happening. But you chose wisely, because a Barbara, a Liberty, those are coins that people recognize as old. If anything, they'll hold value a little bit longer, in my opinion, because people will see them as both a collectible. Oh, shoot. I just lost my spot. They'll see them as both a collectible and as the bullion. So you'll be in a good spot. Let's see. Chilly weekend. Despite the algos. I'm trying to find my spot back. There it is right there. And we'll cruise through some short ones now. Pete, hope you're having a great day. Good morning. Never thought To the Moon would get here. Yeah, we're not even there yet. We got a long ways to go before we get to the moon. But I think we're going to get even closer to it. I really think silver's going to double this year from the starting point, which was $72. 144 is not that much to reason. In fact, my prediction for the year was 150, but I think we'll even be higher than that. It let me hype you this morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I got to hype you again this morning. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like. Appreciate that. NPC, a little pullback. Buy more silver. Thank you so much. Definitely pick up what you can when you can. And only 2 comments left. Mom for Miners. Mom for Minecraft. Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. And don't be fooled with the thumbs up and congratulations. Thank you all for watching. So that was all the comments. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how things play out. Like I said, I'm not at all worried about what's going on. As for the trying to push the videos more, I'm working the best I can on trying to come up with stuff. I try different things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And sometimes it works for a little while, and then YouTube finds a way to beat me, essentially. Nice little stack there. Let's see. When you see the Comex choking. If you are looking for an image, it was probably deleted. The U.S. Mint, holy crap. I don't know what the image was yet. Let's see, we already looked at that. Blank the CME. It's rigged anyway. Ooh, a really nice coin ring there. They took a coin and they turned it into a ring. In fact, I got one right here. See, I guess I do have silver at my house. This was actually sent to me by New Marshall. I'll show you guys here in a minute. Here, hold on a minute. Let's see. Not the same one that's in the photo, but... boom. Move all that. I don't even know. Hopefully it doesn't show anything too personal. Nope. Oh, just a receipt. Let's see if you guys can really... hard to make out, though. That's the only thing I don't like about these cameras. They just take like a coin and they drill a hole in it, and then they start banging it out. Before you know it, you get some really cool ring like that. I had wanted one. I looked around, and I just couldn't find the right deal on one. And then New Marshall ended up picking me that up. So extremely thankful for that. I like it. It's a pretty coin. Although every time I wear it, I think it fades a little more. You know, you rub it or you spin it or whatever the case may be. And now it's a ring and it's losing its... I don't even know what they started this with. Let's see if I can find out real quick. Nope, I don't even know what they started that coin with. What they started that ring with. Oh, see, I guess I do have a little silver too. Boom, a couple little things right there. That's only because one of my friends needed some money. And he's like, I don't want them anymore. And they're beat up. And I was like, silver's silver. It really doesn't matter. So I do pick up stuff once in a while. And once in a while I do have stuff here. Plus I got that right there. Whatever that is. I don't even know. Nope, not... oh, yeah, it is silver. Oh, look at that. That's actually that $30 one I was telling you about. $30 for a brand new 1964 that you won't be able to really make out, but it is. So there's a little bit of stuff. Yeah, I used to show a lot more stuff, but you know how it gets. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Let's see. We're going to wrap up here in just a second. Not all heroes wear caps. Wow. Nice little stack there. Bunch of eagles. And with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video. Just kind of looking, banks. But we fooled the markets with the paper contracts. Physical silver? And you think that gives you power over me? Yeah, paper contract. So the bank's saying that. We fooled everybody with the paper contract, but the physical silver came back and said, you think that gives you power over me? Yeah, you can't beat physical silver with paper. The demand will eventually break through no matter what. So what is that next one? Oh, if you want to bet on who the next president will be, I guess you can do that through that site. So with that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, hopefully you hit that thumbs up button. It was a long one, but our Saturday morning videos are always the longest of the week. But it gives you an opportunity to answer questions, ask questions, give your thoughts, opinions on whatever. And I try to give you guys mine every Saturday. So thank you all for watching, commenting. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, leave me a comment, and a special thank you goes out to all of our members of the channel. I can't thank y'all enough for being a member, those of you that are. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap up here. Consider clicking on one of these hyperlinks that I'm putting up right here, these 3, and check out some of these other great videos. Thank you all for watching and commenting, and I will see you guys again tomorrow on T-Square Talk, but I'll probably see you maybe this evening. But for sure, I'll have a video up tomorrow because I definitely want to talk about what's going on at the U.S. Mint. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.